Hello there, YouTubers. This is Gus Estacio from Healing X Outreach, and just want to give you a quick shout out about tomorrow's program at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 12 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Mountain, and 10 a.m. if you are on the West Coast, up there at Cali or Washington State, like my buddy Marcus Julian. Tomorrow we will have an hour-long interview. It will actually be 45 minutes long with Dr. Paul Copan, the author of this book right here, Is God a Moral Monster? It will be tomorrow. All you have to do is dial in 1-347-934-0379. Come with your hard questions. Come with your evidence, whatever it is. Come and talk to Dr. Paul Copan about the things that concern you about the Old Testament, about the God of the Old Testament. Is he a moral monster? Is he the devil in disguise, as some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses posit? Is there something wrong with Yahweh that is not something wrong with Jesus? I mean, everyone has a problem with Yahweh, but no one has a problem with Jesus. So what is it about the Old Testament that disturbs you? What occasion, what dietary law, what is it that has convinced you to shake your faith about the Old Testament God, about the Bible? I mean, do you think now because the Bible has the Old Testament and then the New Testament that only half of the book is valid and the other half is basically the book of a demonic monster demon god named Yahweh? Come and ask Paul Copan those tough questions, those tough instances. Jephthah and his daughter, Abraham sacrificing Isaac, the tough stuff. Any questions about slavery or women and how women are treated. I'm telling you, this book right here, I'm not even finished reading it, I'm about halfway through, is terrific. I'm also going to put a link right there in the description below if you're having a little problem with some of those questions, of the author of another book, Dr. David Lamb, and his book, which is called, I think it's called, God Behaving Badly. God Behaving Badly. I had that interview in July, and I'm going to put the link to that interview right below this description. It's in our video archive. You can go in our video archive and find it, but I'll put it right in the description below. The other thing I'm going to put in the description below, and you can look forward to, I just did my first YouTube test doing a presentation on the issue of apostasy and cultic restorationism. You can see that in the video archive. I'll put that link also in the description below too. I am planning on doing an entire teaching series on the evidence of the Old Testament. Why we can believe that the Old Testament isn't folklore. And I know that there are some in the XJW community that are positing it as folklore based upon books that they've read by biblical minimalists and liberal scholars. And so even though they say they don't follow men, they're following the book of a liberal scholar who's a biblical minimalist. And so one of the issues that was brought out by this particular channel was the legitimacy of the walls of Jericho and the destruction of Jericho. Well, folks, there is absolute legitimacy. The archaeological evidence absolutely supports the biblical account of Jericho, including the fact that it was burned. So I will be putting those links below for you to go ahead and preview by the Biblical Archaeological Society, and you can go ahead and look at that yourself. But in future podcasts, or actually future webcasts, I will be trying to present evidence for many of those troublesome archaeological problems that some people deem to be archaeological problems. I also plan on having 2 archaeologists on our podcast, and as we transition into YouTube, possibly a webcast. So we're going to have Hoffmeyer, who's an archaeologist, and I'm reading his book, God in Israel, right now, including his archaeological textbook on Israel, and also K.A. Kitchens, who's referenced by Dr. Paul Copan in this book as God, a Moral Monster. So I think that we have a lot really excited. I'm really excited about the things we have planned in the future. Tomorrow, though, if you have time between 1 to 2 o'clock, you can get to listen to Dr. Paul Copan and ask him some questions. So call in 1-347-934-0379. If you don't have the time for it, don't worry about it. It is going to be available on iTunes. The podcast is automatically available as soon as it ends, and it will be uploaded to YouTube, so you'll be getting to see that soon on this YouTube channel. So that's the date. Tomorrow it will be the 26th, I think. Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock in the morning if you're on the Pacific Coast. Dr. Paul Copan, is God a moral monster? All those tough questions you might have, you can go ahead and ask Dr. Paul Copan, he's a terrific book that he has dealing with that specifically. So you all have a blessed weekend. See you soon. Bye-bye.